I believe there are people behind me, shedding tears, yes I will, falling down most probably, but standing up, yes I will, with power and infinity. I call myself, remember, more powerful than a soldier, because again my words hit deeper than a bullet. I call myself a striker, a warrior, a power woman. Ngiyofaka idolo phansi ngiqathule nomdali bese ngiyakhuluma, ngiyafikisa, yebo ngiyahleka, abanye bathi ngiyahlezelela. Qala ke ngikhulume nomdali, ngiyaqathula mana ngiqale phansi le ndaba ngeke ngiyixoxe, ngifuna ukuqathula amathambo engqondo bese ngiyaqala wothi ngiqede le ndaba ngakayiqali, ngoba ngithi nina senazijwayeza uqeda into ningakaziqali. Namuhla ngingumqeqeshi wendaba, yimina le ntombi eyifike yagagathela phansi namuhla icansi ngiyalifaka kumdali, ngiyakhuluma wena mamela, yimina lo. Lalela, I am more than what you think or what you see. I am more than this color or the beats. I am more than the hair. I am more than the grammar. I am that girl that you think I can't be. Yes, I will drive that car, and again I will be a Mr. or I list I am a her. My words hit sharper than a bullet, because I am more powerful than a soldier. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now two national anthems. Ladies and gentlemen, the Zikwa Trust. Thank you.
Media community, my team at the EU delegation, my wife Maria, my son Jacob, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Manero akanaka kuamuri mose. Litsone njani. Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure to have you here. And when I see how this is nicely filled, We were hoping it would be like that, and it is like that. So it's an honor for me, my family, to have you all here tonight to celebrate Europe Day. When we celebrate Europe Day, we are actually reminded that that is a peace project. Over 17 years ago, the foundation of the European Union was laid on the 9th of May 1950, just a couple of years after the Second World War, where many of the EU member states being present here were fighting against each other, and over 75 million people, this is more than 5 times the population of Zimbabwe, lost their lives. And since then we have peace. And it is for that reason as well that in 2012 the European Union got the Nobel Prize for Peace. What a success story. Now, having peace as the foundation of the European Union, we cannot close our eyes on the multiple conflicts in the world. In Ukraine, we do not accept the Russian attack on Ukraine's sovereignty, and we will continue to support Ukraine in its fight for freedom through massive additional funds coming from the new Ukraine plan. In Gaza, we are deeply worried about the new military ground operation in Rafah, which would have devastating humanitarian consequences. We therefore ask for an immediate ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and a rapid humanitarian access into Gaza. But this year also reminds us of Europe's commitment to democracy. We have a little banner over there which indicates that we have European elections. The elections to the European Parliament. Over 400 million people will vote this year. These are the second biggest democratic elections in the world. But then the European Union is also a success story as regards prosperity and political, economic, and social integration. Despite all our differences, we speak 24 different languages, we dress differently, we eat differently. We have learned to embrace our diversity. And that is what we are also celebrating tonight. I'm delighted tonight that I'm here together with my 16 fellow EU ambassadors and honorary consuls, united under the spirit of Team Europe. And we proudly present another edition of the much anticipated European Village, which you see over there, showcasing each country, including the rich gastronomic culture that defines our union. Our presence tonight is a testament to our belief. Diversity is our strength and unity is our power, which explains the EU motto, which some of you know already, which is United in Diversity. This motto not only reflects the essence of the European Union, but also resonates with the preamble of the Zimbabwean constitutions, which reads, "We, the people of Zimbabwe, united in our diversity." Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank my own team, the EU delegation, and I would like to single out Birgitte, Alex, and Francesca. Where are they? Probably running around. But also everybody else from the EU team, the teams from the EU member states, but also my wife Maria, who have worked tirelessly over the last weeks, I would say, to make this evening a success. Please join me in applauding their efforts. So tonight, let's celebrate the unity of Zimbabwe in Europe and our diversity. Now, our partnership is crucial to us, and I hope also crucial for Zimbabwe. And to give you a glimpse of the multiple activities we are doing and who we are, I would invite you to watch this video.
The European Union and its member states working as Team Europe are one of the largest political, social, and economic players in the world, to promote peace, prosperity, and security. United in diversity sums up the EU's values. The Europe Day is celebrated on the 9th of May. It commemorates the Schuman Declaration giving birth to the EU. The EU is the third most populous region in the world after Asia and Africa, with 24 official languages used in EU institutions and in communications between member states. With the euro as the single currency used in 20 countries, it is the second most used currency in the world and the most tangible proof of European integration. The EU is the world's largest single market with a population of over 450 million people and a GDP of over 20 trillion US dollars. The EU is also the largest trading bloc in the world, accounting for over 14% of global trade. The EU is tackling some of the most pressing global challenges through the Global Gateway Strategy, which is delivered by the EU and its member states and institutions in a Team Europe approach. The Global Gateway represents Europe's fair, transparent, and positive offer to its partner countries based on shared interests. Global Gateway boosts smart, clean, and secure links in the digital, transport, energy, and climate-relevant sectors and strengthens education, research, and health networks. In Zimbabwe, the EU is committed to a constructive engagement based on shared values and interests. This partnership extends to trade, where the EU is currently the #1 export destination for Zimbabwe's horticulture exports. The top 3 horticulture products are citrus, leguminous vegetables, and cut flowers, with blueberries being the fastest growing export to the EU. Zimbabwe enjoys duty-free and quota-free access to the EU market. In 2022, Zimbabwe-EU trade grew by 6% to $671 million US dollars. Trade between the European Union and Zimbabwe is increasing and has room for even more growth. In an effort to provide a sustainable future for all, the European Investment Bank has also extended credit lines with $42 million US dollars to the Zimbabwean private sector through local banks. European foreign direct investment in Zimbabwe has increased significantly over the years to $460 million US dollars. Several European countries currently hold investments in Zimbabwe, not only creating jobs, but contributing to the Zimbabwean economy as well. Through the Global Gateway, the EU is contributing $120 million US dollars to rehabilitate the Kariba Dam. In Zimbabwe, the EU member states, and the European Investment Bank have an ongoing portfolio of development projects of over $900 million US dollars. For the years to come, Team Europe is supporting green and climate-smart agriculture with over $225 million US dollars, and gender equality and women empowerment with $300 million US dollars in line with the National Development Strategy 1. Team Europe works with the government to identify smart solutions that support a greener increase of agricultural productivity while addressing Zimbabwe's climate-related vulnerabilities. For a just, equal, inclusive, and prosperous society, Team Europe continues to align with the National Development Strategy and build on the impact of previous initiatives and on Zimbabwe's policies, laws, and programs aimed at empowering women in all facets of life and promoting equality between men and women. Our goal is to engage Zimbabwe on an equal footing. We believe that by working together as respectful, honest, and reliable partners, we can discuss our differences in a constructive manner, we can strengthen our relationship and achieve our shared goals. The European Union remains committed to support Zimbabwe and its vision towards a prosperous and empowered upper-middle income society by 2030. Zimbabwe and the European Union. Silani, Tinemi, EU with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Silani, Tinemi, EU with you. Now you have seen we have an ongoing portfolio of over $900 million in projects, but I would like to focus on one initiative, the greener and climate smart agriculture, because that one comes at a crucial time. We are deeply concerned about the current drought situation. And February has been the driest month in history. in Zimbabwe. So we cannot look away. And we have seen the impact on maize harvest affecting livestock and grazing land. Let me therefore say, EU with you during this difficult times of a crisis. Already $62 million were allocated to address the cycle of drought by Team Europe for Zimbabwe to support Zimbabwe in that difficult situation. And we will not stop here, because many of us are currently contacting their headquarters to see whether there are extra funds to support Zimbabwe also at a regional level, because the drought is also a regional problem. Silani, Tinemi, EU with you. The EU is also with you on the journey, on Zimbabwe's journey to make Vision 2030 a reality. We as the EU fully support the process which His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, has initiated to clear the outstanding debt, which is known as the arrears clearance and debt resolution process. Because we, like the government, believe that that process, if it's successfully completed, will lead to access to sovereign lending and therefore to make Vision 2030 a reality. I would therefore like to commend the government for leading this process and proposing as a sovereign country major reforms on the economic side, on land issues, and on the good governance sector. We now look forward to the realization of these reforms, and in particular also what you have proposed, the enhancement of civic space, which we believe is an essential element of the democratic society. We as European Union stand ready to support that government-driven process, as the EU wants Zimbabwe to succeed in its vision of becoming an upper middle income country. Silani, Tinemi, EU with you. The EU is also with you in the trade and investment sector. You have seen we are actually the fourth biggest trading partner when it comes to buying from Zimbabwe, and the biggest buyer of horticulture products, over 42%. We could say that's fantastic. But I believe we could actually do much more, because we have since years a free trade agreement which allows any Zimbabwean company to export duty and tariff-free to the European Union. However, only 200 companies have registered so far. Even if we have 700 million as the annual turnover, there's so much room to do more. So please, spread the word. Zimbabwean companies can export duty and tariff-free to the EU. And by the way, this was also one of our topics when we participated as Team Europe in the Zimbabwean International Trade Fair, and we won for the second time the precious prize of the best international stand. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, Silani, Tinemi, EU with you. This is our commitment to a constructive partnership with Zimbabwe, based on trust, mutual respect, shared values, and multilateralism. I'm confident, and I'm looking at my guest of honor, that the upcoming Zimbabwe-EU partnership dialogue, which is supposed to happen next month, will serve this purpose, and I look forward to it. Together, Zimbabwe and the EU, together we've got the power. We have the power to overcome challenges and achieve our common goals. Yes, we've got the power. Thank you for all being here tonight. Silani, Tinemi, EU with you. introduce our guest of honor, even if the MC did it already. But the Honorable Sheila Chikomo is not only the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe, but she has also dedicated her time as a member of the Parliament of Mvenesi East. And I would like to invite you to come and join me for a toast. Please. Here's your glasses coming. Allow me now to propose a toast to the President, His Excellency Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and to the people of Zimbabwe. May the Almighty protect and bless this land.
A toast to the nation. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Silani Tinemi, EU with you. Can we just kindly give a round of applause to Ambassador Jobs von Kirkman for such a wonderful speech. Before I say my speech, I would like to first just commend a young, brilliant, very powerful young lady. Her name is Emily. She said, "I am enough." And I think that was a powerful speech to grace this occasion. And I'm excited also as a young person to see my sisters, my fellow colleagues coming up. These are the future leaders we are looking at. And bless you, young sister. May we also give a round of applause. Ruvi always says, Ruvenoko, our director of ceremonies, Honorable, I wouldn't want you to go through the whole speech, but allow me to just say all that I have. As you know, I just recently got appointed on this post. I wouldn't want to mess around. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Ambassador Jobs von Kirkman, head of European delegation to Zimbabwe. Thank you. Honorable ministers and members of parliament here present, excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions from the European Union and the rest of the world, distinguished guests from business, academia, religion, and the fourth estate. It is a great honor for me to join you, Ambassador Jobs von Kirkman, for Your Excellency, your colleagues, as well as the European community in commemorating the European Day. Since the signing of this Schuman Declaration exactly 74 years ago, the European Union has achieved significant milestones in deepening democracy, strengthening unity and diversity, and creating a model of integration through the smooth movement of goods and services. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of Zimbabwe, I wish to extend our heartfelt congratulations to you on this historic day. May we kindly give them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, as we join in celebrating this joyous occasion, we reflect on the relationship between our two countries. Zimbabwe deeply appreciates the ongoing cooperation between the government and the European Union and the multi-sectoral support that we continue to receive. Please allow me to cite a few examples of this support, some of which Ambassador Jobs von Kirkman has already highlighted. The European Union participation at the just ended Zimbabwe's International Trade Fair, ZITF, for the second year running with a significantly expanding presence, and the icing of the cake of the first place finish in the foreign exhibitors category is a clear testimony of the European Union's commitment to deepen economic ties with Zimbabwe and expand economic and commercial exchanges. We also note the existing Zimbabwe's EU trade relations, which are enshrined in the EU's ESA 5 free trade agreement. Zimbabwe has enjoyed a positive trade balance under this EPA, which is also encompassing countries like Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, the Seychelles, and Zambia. The EU's Zimbabwe fifth trading partners, and there is potential to increase the volume of trade between Zimbabwe and the European Union. Ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe stands to benefit from the 100% duty-free, quota-free access to the European market by ESA 5 countries. 80% tariff lines on European Union exports to ESA countries and the development cooperation assistance in areas such as trade facilitation, sanitary and phytosanitary norms and standards. For example, the 10 million euros extended by the European Union to support the implementation of APAS from 2018 to 2023. We are indeed grateful for the invaluable support we have received from the European Union under the Multi-Annual Indicative Program, MAIP, and the Neighborhood Development Committee, NDICI framework. Ladies and gentlemen, through these initiatives, the EU has supported various sectors that include gender equality and women empowerment, as already reiterated by our ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, under the European Union Visitors Program and the Team's European Initiative on Greener and Climate Smart Agriculture, and as part of efforts to clear arrears owed to bilateral and multilateral debtors, the government of Zimbabwe established the structured dialogue platform on arrears clearance and debt resolution. I wish to reiterate the government's appreciation for the role of EU in playing in the dialogue, in particular in the governance sector working group as co-chair. I take this opportunity to reiterate Zimbabwe's commitment to clear all its arrears and to the success of the structured dialogue platform. Our hope is that it remains a dialogue of equals and not be bogged down by the burden of a prescriptive approach. Relative to this, I wish to note that significant strides have been achieved in implementing the ongoing reforms agenda guided by our economic blueprints. The National Development Strategy NDS1, and is reflected in the implementation on matrix on political, economic, and electoral and legislative reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost done. The signing of the Samoa Agreement ushered in a noble framework of cooperation between the European Union and the African, Caribbean, and the Pacific ECP countries. This new framework of cooperation, partnership dialogue offers prospects for engagement on a number of areas for mutual benefits. It is a scenario which interests us because we have long advocated for an expansive engagement in which there is emphasis on the areas of convergence. I am advised that the European side has already expressed interest in convening a session of partnership dialogue. The government of Zimbabwe stands ready to engage. I repeat, stands ready to engage. We are also looking forward to tapping into funding available for health flagship projects, global partnership for education, including the Erasmus Plus under the Global Gateway Initiative. As you are aware, the President, His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, declared a state of disaster, as already reiterated by our ambassador here, in response to the El Nino-induced drought, with the objective of mobilizing domestic and international resources to mitigate the effects of the drought. And I am confident that we can count on the EU system in that regard. Like our ambassador have already stated, Tinani, Tinemi, EU with you. Sinani, right? Silani. Thank you. When people start clapping hands, it means you're done. Hold on a little bit. I will be done very soon. As you are aware, the President, His Excellency, have already alluded on issues of El Nino, and I am confident, as I have said already, that EU will be with us as it is promised us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, hi Ruby. I wish to conclude my remarks by reiterating Zimbabwe's readiness and commitment to fully normalize relations with the European Union for our mutual benefits. I also look forward to strengthening and deepening multi-sectoral cooperation between our two sides. I would like, at this juncture, to invite you to a toast, as the second toast. Okay, as we're raising our glasses, I would like to invite you to a toast to deepen and strengthen multi-sectoral cooperation between Zimbabwe and European Union. To continued success in your tour of duty, Ambassador Von Kickman. And of course, a toast to the Deputy Minister for delivering such a wonderful speech. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our Honourable Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, thank you so much, Honourable Sheila Chikolo. We are united. Silani, Tinemi, EU with you.
Try this again with the three of us, come on.
All right.
Silani, Tinemi, EU with us.
Thank you very much, our distinguished guests there. Now, Honourable mentioned at the beginning of her speech that sometimes I give house rules. If this was one of those events where we had about 4 speeches, I generally say, distinguished guests, those of you that come onto this podium, please cut out the first page of your speech, because often the speech is about 28 pages, and the first page is literally just protocol, observing the same people I observed, the same people the first speaker observed, so I just usually get them to cut that out. So, Honourable Minister, today you were exonerated because it is a very short program tonight. So we appreciate that you had to acknowledge those, and you are new in office, but you are doing an incredible job, and we're so happy to have more women. As you acknowledged Emily, our younger sister, we acknowledge you, our sister, and we hope that we continue with supporting women in this climb to make sure that we take up space in the right places. Entertain you, as well as let you know exactly why you're here. You see, when the EU puts an event together, it's got purpose. You can see so many cameras here, and it's not just because they want this event to be covered. It's because the purpose that they serve in this country is so much deeper, that we want to make sure that every corner of this country hears what happened here today, that every corner of the world hears what happens here today. And I'd like to, with so much joy, introduce the Danica team, who's going to come up and perform the theme song for this EU campaign. And you can stand where you are, tap your foot if you must. If you're from Northern Africa, move your head. If you're from Central Africa, move your waist. If you're from Southern Africa, move your feet. If you're from Europe, look, I don't know, take a sip of what you're drinking. Okay? But what I want to say is, it's now time to just enjoy what has been put together behind the scenes, to put this evening together, to bring us all together, and hopefully by the end of the night, we would have all mastered some of the dance moves. So please, put your hands together now for the Danica performance of the EU campaign theme song with Green and Gender Ambassadors, I've Got the Power.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Honorable Chikomo, our guest of honor, and our host, His Excellency Von Kirchman, and all protocol observed. Allow me to ride on the protocol. Ravina Bosei, she does not want people doing all the protocol. All right, so I'll ride on that protocol. I'm Ruby Zaita Kawira, and I am one of the EU With You campaign, the Green and Gender campaign, and I will be one of the ambassadors. I'm one of your ambassadors, so you will be seeing me a lot in this campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, for gender equality, together for a greener Zimbabwe. And a campaign theme song which is titled The Power, and with Danica Group, Danica Studios, all Mary Annabelle and Felinandi.
Empower Zimbabwe. Educate Amadola to uplift the women. Sukuma we mama, Sukuma we boko. Gender equality, we live for all. Silani Tilemi, here with you. Hello. Silani Tilemi, here with you. 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 So let's work it out. We have so much sun, so let's get it down. Oh, we've got the power. So let's work it out. Rise, woman, you're a star. Rise, woman, cause you are. Quality, I possess and say I'm simple. People and mouth, waiting people. Environment, we're gonna get checked. Environment has a rain. We want to green life so we can survive. What we say? Amanda. So let's work it out. We have so much sun, so let's get it done. Oh, we've got the power. So let's work it out. Rise, woman, you're a star. Rise, woman, cause you are. You with you. P-O-W-E-R. It's Honey Youth District coming at ya. Support your girl for gold equality. Zim to EU, that's unity. They're not alone, together as one. We can change the world with the power of love. So go green against pollution. EU with you for all generations. So let's
Others are angry and complaining, saying, why burn us when we give you oxygen? Why burn us when we give you life? As we stand intact, standing tall, proud that we give you food day in and day out, proud that we are your windbreakers. You shame us by burning us down as if we mean nothing. Silawo Amanda, we've got so much power. We have a drought, so we might work it out. Unane Simba, EU with you. I've got the power. There's a drought, so let's work it out. We have so much sun, so like yes, it's our we've got the power. There's a drought, so let's work it out. Rise when you're a star, rise when go to
Ladies and gentlemen, the theme song for the EU campaign. We've got the power! Love it. Beautifully done. So much energy. Thank you to Danica. Thank you to all the EU ambassadors on this campaign. Beautiful. Call on our guest of honor, together with our host tonight, Your Excellency, and all the honorary consuls of EU member states, and all EU ambassadors, and all ministers here present tonight, and permanent secretaries. If you could, where you look behind you, which is my stage left, your right, there is a lineup of the EU flags, the member states here in this country. If everyone I've just listed could make their way over to those flags just for a family photo. And she's also the executive director of the Conservation Compensation Private. She's laid with the photos. Alright, that's fine. So ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we have a usually where we're going to
As a city, we host the European embassies. A lot of them, they operate here in Harare, and they are also regional embassies. As a city, we are happy that we can accommodate so many embassies, and we know they contribute to the cultural diversity, and more importantly, they bring foreign direct investment through their interventions. And as the relations improve with the Zimbabwean government, we are looking forward to a more healthier cooperation with the European Union and more and wider, deeper investment in the city. So we are quite happy to have been invited here as the city, and we hope the European Union all the best it deserves. It is a good example of a union that has withstood the test of time.
Your comment on this day.
Uda nechirudzi ungangotaura nechose. Thank you very much. Today the European Union celebrated the EU Day, which we have just celebrated. It is an important milestone in Zimbabwe in that, as you will recall, the relationship between Zimbabwe and EU has greatly improved. They've largely removed the majority of the sanctions against Zimbabwe, except the restriction against our defense industry, which we hope that those ones will be lifted. And when we were there, the ambassador spoke about the collaboration, the trade that they intend to have with Zimbabwe, and they also spoke about our debt clearance program that we are undertaking and their support to ensure that we can unlock trade with other countries and be able to access financing. So we are very happy with the stance that the European Union has taken to ensure that we become part of the community of nations by removing the barriers that were there over the last 24 years.
Thank you so much.
Zuva ranhasi musi wa May 9 izuva rinopembererwa yavanoti zuva reEurope, EU Day. Pazuva ranhasi tanga tichipemberera ukama huripo pakati peZimbabwe neEurope. Chinokosha chabuda pamhemberero dzanhasi ndechekuti European Union yakuda kuita ukama hwakanaka neZimbabwe. Ambassador pavataura vakurukura vakati trade kana kuti kutengeserana kuripo pakati penyika dzekuEurope neZimbabwe kwakakwirira zvakanyanya, ende vataura kuti vanoda kubatsira Zimbabwe mune zvakawanda kuitira kuti upfumi hwedu hwemuno munyika hunge huchibudirira. Chinokosha chavataura chimwe ndechekuti vasimbaradza kuti vanopa support zvakanyanya pane zviri kuitwa zvekuti zvikwereti zvatinazvo seZimbabwe nedzimwe nyika zvinge zvichinadzurudzwa zvibhadharwe kuitira kuti tikwanise kunge tichinokumbira dzimwe mari dzinoita kuti tinge tichivandudza nyika yedu ikwanise kuenda mberi zvakanaka.